Good morning. 1059 The Zone, ESPN. We are the Out of Bounds Show. And we're brought to you by your next video wall at your school or business, restaurant, lobby, powered by Sound and Communications. SoundcomAV.com. You're opening a new restaurant, bar. You need a video wall for your hospital lobby, law firm, technology firm. That is powered by Sound and Communications, soundcomav.com. We welcome in Mike D., WWL Radio TV New Orleans. Mike Detillier joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike D., we were talking about Quinshon Judkins earlier in the show. Hell of a career at Ole Miss and Ohio State. Where do you have Quinshon Judkins going in the draft?
I have him as an early second-round pick. For me, it's Ashton Genty as the number one halfback. And maybe I'm a little different than most, but I have Hampton and Trevion Henderson, a 2-3, and it is close. I mean, it is razor close between the two of them. And then I have Judkins at the 4th spot.
Okay. We're visiting with Mike Detillier. Mike D's been covering the draft for almost 40 years. We've got it up in Green Bay here in a couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome. And Thursday night is the first round of the draft. We'll have at least a couple of Ole Miss players taken, possibly 3. We'll see what all plays out with Dart, Walter Nolan, and a couple other defensive players, actually. So, all right. So, Mike D, with you know how the league, it's a copycat league, and everybody kind of went away. They didn't go away from the running back, but they didn't put as much emphasis on it. And now that Saquon goes from the Giants to the Eagles and has the kind of year he did, and the fact that Derrick Henry is still got the juice that he has left in the tank, and I know he's an outlier, Mike D, but do you expect teams to go overboard? And do you expect the running back, even though it's deep this year, that more teams than we think will draft running backs in the first and second round than the last 6 or 7 drafts, Mike D?
Well, everything's cyclical. And I think there'll be 2 running backs picked in round 1, but we saw that a couple years back. So I think in every year it's a little bit of supply and demand, which you have out there. This is a really rich year at running back. So the narrative, which is a false one, is that teams, they picked running back because of Saquon. What they're going to load up on is offensive linemen. Okay? Saquon Barkley, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him, he was a good back in New York. He became a great back in Philly because their offensive line. Okay, he wasn't running through those holes in New York like he is in Philly. It's a different situation. But people who don't study the game fall into, we got to pick running backs. Okay, the Giants did that too. But Saquon wasn't the same player. They didn't build that offensive line like what the Eagles did. What you will see in the first and second round is a run in a very light area. Offensive linemen. Just because every team needs one, at least one. And the Saints, they probably could use a couple. I do think when you look at it as a whole, what the Eagles showed you was you went up front, offensive, defensive line. And it is a rich area defensive line-wise. You'll see out of my top 75, 24 of the 75 are defensive linemen.
Wow.
Either interior or on the edge.
Wow.
Offensive line is not nearly as good as it was a year ago or 2 years ago. It's just not that type draft. And every year there's a little bit of an up and down. So there's not as many, but those guys are not going to wait long to get called. And I think when you watch the game closely, what the Eagles did was build up front. And then they dropped the halfback in. And Barkley, who was an immensely gifted back, but, in New York, he wasn't having any lanes to run through. And I do think there is a false narrative out there that, they're going to pick all kind of running backs. That won't happen this year because it is an overloaded year. What's really going to be a run in a year where they don't have a ton of offensive linemen? They're going to peel off that board real quick in the first and second round. If you need linemen, you better get them early because they're not going to stay there. And look what you're paying quarterbacks today. So you need to protect them.
Good point.
And that offensive line, it goes right back to it. And as much, Bo, as we get away from a little bit of this game has changed, and it has in some areas, the one thing it hasn't changed, if you don't win up front, offensive, defensive line, you ain't winning anywhere. And I think here we saw the best player in the game. He became a mere mortal when his offensive line couldn't match up against the Eagles' defensive front. Oh. Patrick Mahomes was really jittery in that pocket, and they got after him. And so where there will be more running backs picked, and it is a really healthy year at running back, I don't know that it will overload the first round or overload round two. Where I think you will see a big run on running backs is round 3 and 4. I think, man, in a year where there's a lot of backs, though, that's where you're going to see the peel off. And I learned this years ago. I had a former NFL coach live next door to me, and Joe Clark. He was actually the backup quarterback to Otto Graham with the Cleveland Browns. And so he started coaching under Paul Brown, and he coached into his 80s before his health started to wane. And he told me, he said, years ago when I was doing this, he's like, I'm going to tell you something. The Greeks settled this years ago. When you had a chance to pick a really talented big man or a really talented small guy, the big man wins out every time.
Yeah.
And I think we still into that, what it is, thousands of years, and yet it's still sort of that way.
But, Mike, don't you agree that some franchises that aren't run well, they'll go for the splash when they need to go for a dude in the trenches like you're describing, and you're right. But there will be a couple of franchises that will be like, I want to win the press conference. So I'm at a time when I need to hire draft an offensive lineman or defensive lineman right here. I'm going to draft a running back or a wide receiver. Don't you think there's franchises like that?
There might be one or two, but I do think the narrative in the NFL is I can get it back a little bit later on. Now, I can't get it back like Ashton Genty. I mean, he's a special guy. And it's just like when Bijan Robinson came out a couple years back, you say, that guy's a little different than the rest of the crew. So Genty is going to be a top 10 pick. Now, I think the big question mark will be what happens to, like, Hampton, what happens to Judkins, what happens to Henderson. And I do think Hampton will go in round 1, somewhere in round 1. Where I think you'll see maybe a little run is the 2 Ohio State backs in Henderson and Quinchon go in the second round. But after that, it's where the next one's going to go. Because now the league is sort of built on 3 receivers passing the ball in probably the leanest year for receivers I've seen in the last 5. You're not going to see as many receivers get picked. So the ones that are there, they're going to get picked a little bit higher. We almost looking at it economically here now. the supply and demand part is there for offensive linemen and receivers, and yet they don't have a lot of them. There's a lot of running backs. There's a lot of defensive linemen. Where I think you will see an even leaner part of things, and we may have talked about this, I know I've done it on other shows, is at the linebacker position. I wrote an article a few years back that I could see that the running back spot, you weren't going to have as many numbers-wise as in years past. When you involved with 5 camps like I am, you see all these guys now, 7-on-7 sort of change things. And there's not as many corners. There's not as many running backs. But, when you line up the receivers for drills, you better get out of the way. Man, them guys, everybody wants to play receiver. The other part that I noticed, and I've seen it over the last 3 or 4 years, dramatically change. Linebackers. Bo, they're not there. So I see a 6'2", maybe 205-pound young man who's a sophomore in high school. Now, years ago, he would probably be a two-way player, but he's going to mostly play linebacker or defensive end in high school. When you're 15 years old and you're that size, you ask him, "Oh, what do you play today?" And, "Oh, no, sir, I don't play defense. I'm a receiver or I play tight end."
Uh-huh.
They're not even playing defense. And you're like, whoa. We had, at the Louisiana line camp, we had 775 young men there. You know how many linebackers they signed in? You know how many linebackers signed in?
How many?
Of 775? 14.
Good grief, Mike.
Whoa. I could have took them on a little bus and driven them around, or on 2 golf carts, so to speak. It's stunning because years ago we didn't have 775. We were having 450 to 500, and there were 50 to 60 linebackers. Where have they all vanished to? You know what? They vanished to offense. I'm catching the ball. I'm playing tight end. I'm playing receiver. I'm not playing linebacker. Watch how it affects college football first. Take a look at that Alabama defense, LSU's defense. Georgia's going to feel it too. Ohio State, all recognized for bigger linebackers. Okay, they've come from those particular schools. Watch how many big linebackers they got today. Take a look at their rosters. Dramatically smaller at linebacker. So if I'm playing you, hey, and you smaller, I'm going to run the ball on you. So one domino hits another one. If I see that you're playing with a 215 or a 220-pound linebacker, and I'm going to run the ball right at him, yeah, he might be a good athlete and can maybe get around a few plays, but I'm going to beat you up.
Right, over the course of the game.
Watch how it changes college football first. And I think we're starting to see it. Take a good look at LSU's roster. LSU's always had linebackers. Always. Today, take a good look at them. They all 215, 220, maybe one that's 225. Take a look at Alabama's linebacker crew. They're not as big anymore. It is dramatically going to change college football first, and then the next domino to hit the NFL. That's what 7-on-7 has done. And it's changing that part of the game. There isn't as many corners. Okay, my 3 best receivers are going to be better than your 3 best corners.
Yeah.
And I'm going to beat you that way. But if I see you get smaller, and that's one thing the Eagles did very well. They figured this out. Teams are getting smaller on defense. Nickel, dime coverage. I'm talking about they got some teams in this league, they start the game out with 5 defensive backs. And then on second down, you see 6. Okay, if I see 6 defensive backs, man, yeah, it can be 2nd and 9. Guess what I'm doing? I'm going to run it. And that's where the mismatches come into play. So it's a little bit of a chess game now. And I sit in on all these meetings that they have. And at Louisiana Line Camp last year, we had 13 NFL assistant coaches. And Pete Jenkins, who, he's, I guess, guidance counselor for I don't know how many teams. But and they all said the exact same thing. As a defensive coach now, they're going to beat us up. And where are the bigger linebackers that can run? That's why one guy in this draft class will get picked a lot higher than people think. That's Jalen Walker from Georgia. And Jalen's a little bit of a hybrid player in that he can be an off linebacker on first and second down. Obvious third down pass threat situations. Hey, Jalen, get up on the line of scrimmage. You see the guy who's going to catch the ball? Put him on his butt. And he knows what to do as far as pass rush moves and the ability to get off a bigger man. This is a very talented group of defensive edge people. You know what a lot of them can't do? They don't know how to use their hands. They don't know how to get off of a block. You're picking them because they're great athletes. Shamar Stewart is the great example. He's built like you would want a defensive end to be built like he's carved out of stone. And he's 6'5", and he's this great athlete. He doesn't have any body fat on him at all. Did Shamar Stewart make any game-changing plays that you watched if you watch A&M play? No. Didn't make any. He's sort of like a neophyte. He can't beat you with speed and quickness right off the bat. He does not know how to use his arms and hands well. The one guy that really made a great move, and I saw it this year from his A&M days, was Walter Nolan. Okay? And, personality-wise, he is who he is. But I know against LSU and other games that, I broke down like slide by slide by slide with him. LSU's offensive line were like, what the hell hit us with this guy? He was in the play, basically in the backfield as much as Nussmeier was. Every snap, he was there. And he, sort of tilted the field. But I see it more and more, and I understand with Pete Jenkins and Henry Thomas and some of these other guys kind of preach, man, we're getting all these great athletes, but they're not really well coached. And so a lot of these defensive linemen that are going to get picked in round one, terrific athletes, they play hard, they have speed and quickness, they have some power sets, and you just can't win with speed and power in the NFL. You better have a power set move with you. They don't know how to use their arms and their hands to get away from people. They really don't. So now we're at a point where, okay, I got the big man. Can he play? Can he get off of a big man block? Man, if I'm an offensive lineman and I see that you can't beat me after the first move, checkmate. I got you.
Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike, if you had the perfect draft scenario for Jackson Dart, where does he fit?
I think he's a year one sit and watch, and to get accustomed to the game. I've always felt, it would be a great spot for him, the Rams. Sean McVay, and you sit behind Matt Stafford, and you sort of soak up everything that McVay's going to throw at you.
Yeah.
The other kind of deal here would be certainly Pittsburgh, where most likely Aaron Rodgers will be there this year, and you get to sit for at least a year to watch. If he comes to the Saints in some manner, now I don't think he'll be a top 10 pick, but let's say the Saints jump back in, let's say at 21 or 22 or whatever, I have a feeling that he's going to have to play a lot sooner. I don't know how long the leash is going to be with Derek Carr, because Derek is who he is. He's not going to change, not at his age. You got who you got. But perfect scenario for Jackson would be a first-round pick and you watch for a year and soak it all in. And then year two, hey, you got baton put in your hand and say go with it. People say, well, that's unrealistic. Well, was it unrealistic for Patrick Mahomes? That's what happened to him. He sat and watched for a year. Alex Smith was the guy. See, people forget. They sort of forgetful about those sort of things. Joe Burrow had to play. Josh Allen, he had to play.
Right.
But I think for Jackson, the scenario would be to go to a pretty good team and to maybe watch for a year, and then you become the man. And, you could see a couple scenarios where that played out for some teams. If he goes to a New Orleans or Cleveland or the Giants, do you really think Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston is going to win you games in New York? No. They may win a few games. They ain't winning you squat. That's why Jameis Winston's bounced all over the board in the NFL. Russell Wilson, Sean had enough after a year. What happened in Pittsburgh? Enough after a year. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to turn back into the Russell Wilson of maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. Won't happen. Can't wheel back the hands of time like that. So, with Jackson Dart, I think he will. In my opinion, I think he's a first-round pick quarterback. But I would not certainly pick him with a top 10 pick. But man, if he could have the dream scenario, it would be going round one and go to Los Angeles. And for a year, you watch, Matt Stafford and get that tutelage from a guy like Sean McVay.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I mean, yeah. All right, Mike D on the Out of Bounds Show. At Mike Detillier on Twitter. Thanks, Mike D. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Bo.
He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. If you need a video wall for your school, hospital, business, soundcomav.com.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m., and this ain't no K show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
On aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
Good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows with you. Show is brought to you by Rick's Pro Truck. 3 locations for your spray and bed liner, lift kits, tires and wheels, and WeatherTech floor guards. All powered by RPT, Rick's Pro Truck. Trucks live here. Good morning. Welcome in. I think the portal is more exciting for you in basketball because of the success. Obviously, Beard going to the Sweet 16, huge. Doesn't happen often in the state. Had not happened in 24 years. Mississippi State went to back-to-back in 95 and 96. Haven't been back since. Stansbury got to the second weekend 4 times. And really wasn't celebrated, which is incredible. Beard breaks through in year 2 and gets to the second weekend. But I think you're more excited about the portal because of the success of Beard and Jans and also Josh Hubbard being a local player who's phenomenal. And you were able, 35 games gives you an opportunity to get to know Sean Padula. I think it's tougher in football right now. First of all, we don't see them. They're covered up. They've got helmets. They've got on pads. And so even Ole Miss, who's bathing in winning in football, and they should be, they didn't really get to know their team for the most. I mean, Dart was there for 3 years, and there were some others. But, there's a lot of transactional stuff going on there. Yeah. Basketball, the guy plays offense and defense, Padula and Josh Hubbard. And you get to see him. I mean, they're not even wearing that much. So they're definitely not covered with helmet, shoulder pads, pants, the whole thing. I just think psychologically it's different.
Yeah.
I know it is. And I think with it being so transactional and not as many games, it's harder. It is without a doubt harder to get up to speed with your roster in college football today. Basketball, you can.
Yeah.
You can get to know a Sean Padula or a Claudell Harris pretty quick. I think there's a difference there. 35 games, you see them, they're on the floor. They don't sub out on a punt.
Right.
They're there playing offense and defense, and these guys that play 30-plus minutes a game like Padula and Hubbard, and I know Hubbard's not a transfer, but you can – You get to know, we feel like we get to know them because we see them.
You ride their ups and downs too.
Absolutely.
Their downs almost make it better or make them, because when they come up, on the upside of the down, it's more celebrated because you rode with the guy. You rode through the slump and here you are. Kind of like riding with, obviously Hubbard's a little different, but riding with him through his little, if you want to call it a little drought for his shot, his little 3-point drought.
Right.
But you rode with him and he found a shot, you felt better about it. And you get to see him. And seeing him makes it just makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I think that's why I think our fans will get more into the basketball. Once you figure out who you got.
Right.
I think you're going to be able to go, oh, okay, that's cool. This guy's coming in this summer. And for Ole Miss, you're going to say, I hope we find another Padula.
Tough task.
Mississippi State wants to, every year it will be.
Lord.
Give Beard and his evaluators big time credit for that. For Mississippi State, you're looking for a Padula.
Man.
And boy, if you could have put a good guard beside Josh this year, holy smokes. But then again, you had no big man either. And yet Josh and really Jans, Jan's, Josh, and
Party.
Jan's. Well, Josh, Cam, and Murphy were just, that was it. I mean, you had a little bit of, but you really didn't have anything else. So, and you lost you could argue your two best defensive players of all time. I mean, maybe Tolu's not going to have the same blocks as
Bernardo.
But the game was played. I mean, there's 9,000 more threes taken. So
True.
that means you don't have as many opportunities, when Bernardo, and I don't want to take anything away from him, he was a very skilled shot blocker and protected the rim and allowed Rick to do some other things defensively on the perimeter, knowing that if you got past one of your guards, Bernardo was there, just like with Tolu. But you had no rim protection, 0 rim protection last year for Mississippi State. Still made the tournament. One thing Ole Miss had, Malik Dia was a rim protector. I mean, he may not be the greatest of all time, but he's big, he's athletic, and he could really cause problems. So that if you messed up, if you made a mistake on the perimeter, on your spacing, whatever, teams moving the ball well, Dia sometimes could make up for it. DJ Jeffries and Tolu could do that. You had nothing like that this year. So there was nothing if Hub, Harris, Melendez, or Kugel on the perimeter were guarding, you had no one to save you in the back because you had, Nwoko and Cam Matthews. And although Cam was good in other areas,
Right.
he wasn't a rim protector. I think the portal's going to be more entertaining and fun for you as Rebels and Dogs because of Jan's success the last 3 years and Beard's success this year. And look, man, Beard was within a whisker going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I mean, he got that team
Man.
rolling at the right time. Padula was so good, but Brakefield was a problem. He's a matchup nightmare in college basketball. And then you had enough down low with Dia. And that was...
What's that?
And then Davis could do a little... He was your Cam. He could do a little bit of, everything. But it was a lot of fun. I thought March Madness was amazing. The tournament never disappoints. Think about how many things in your life that never disappoint. I mean, sports is pretty awesome. But a tournament that's set up like that, a 64-team gauntlet of 3 weekends.
You know what you got.
And you got to go 6-0. Tip of the cap, whether you don't like, I know a lot of you don't like Todd Golden. He got into a little trouble or whatever. Something happened last
Come on.
fall or summer or something. But the bottom line is they made another comeback. That has nothing to do with the players. What did or didn't happen, and I don't know. But Walter Clayton and the group were awesome. And Elijah Martin's a Mississippi kid. He's a national champion.
He is. He gets a ring.
From
baby.
Summit, Mississippi. He went to Florida Atlantic for 4 years, and then he ends up at Florida. That guy jumped out of the San Antonio arena on Saturday over the 2 Auburn players to dunk. What's his vertical? 40, 42, 44? Where are we going here?
A little bit of myself there.
Yeah.
I mean,
people still talk about you getting off the floor at Clinton.
they should. Rim protector was something you could have associated me with. Yeah.
Rim Jackson Meadows. Rim protector.
And that's synonymous.
Okay. The Dancing Rabbit golf text line 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. Ooh, Key City Mi Vida is going to be coming out soon. Their Mexican lager.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be year round starting this time. It's been seasonal.
That hot?
Key City Mi Vida will be rolling out, I think, this month. But their Mississippi Queen is here, Curse. And Death on Two Legs, Key City out of Vicksburg. The caller line is 601-707-3750. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Forgot to go over there and do the beer segment. May have to do that the next segment. Okay. National Beer Day. We'll go. It's brought to you by Mango Cart, Golden Road Mango Cart. We have it on tap here at the studio. It's delicious beer. It's one of Jackson Meadows' favorite. Mango Cart. It's really, really good beer. Mudbugs has it on tap. They open tomorrow. Is today? Yeah, they open tomorrow. I saw they posted yesterday. Mudbugs will open Wednesday through Sunday. Martin's in Livingston has Mango Cart on tap. And
I can tell you why I like it so much.
Talk to me.
It is so back in college is whenever I recall at least Shock Top. You know what I'm talking about? Which was a pretty good beer for me. I loved it, and that was high class. Whenever we were in college, man, that was top notch.
I've got 4 of them in my back fridge right now.
They're great. They had their seasonal runs, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So they had one that was orange.
Okay.
And it is everything that Shock Top orange one aspired to be.
I think that they told me. It's funny. I can't believe you put all that together. But I think a couple of months ago when I was asking them, our beer guys, who are really cool to hang out with, about Mango Cart, they tied in
Really?
Shock Top. Yeah.
That's it. It's everything it wanted to be.
It's real clean,
It's
refreshing,
crisp and clean. Yes.
It's
Shock Top is a little
drinkable. Yeah. It's just good.
It is the perfect. And they always release the orange one during springtime. So we'd be at the Cotton District pool. We'd get run out by the camps for having glass bottles.
Oh man.
Sneak back in, get run out again until they put the gate up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we like to give Dan hell.
I hung out at that pool.
That pool rules.
It's kind of tucked away.
It's exclusive.
And I lived right by there. So and had friends that lived like at the pool. In the apartments surrounding it. Yeah, it's a smooth place.
Prettiest places to walk around.
Yeah, you don't. It's very New Orleans courtyardish.
It is, yeah.
And that's how Dan came up with the Cotton District. It was
had no idea.
a New Orleans style theme. That's why you see the little nooks and courtyards in the Cotton District.
Had no idea, but that makes all it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of Charleston, but a lot of New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Especially around the pool. That's cool.
And like the cobblestone walkways down by Two Brothers, older brother, Arepas, which is the Venezuelan restaurant, which is amazing too. And they're wild. Those ladies in there, crazy in a good way. It's very authentic food, but good call, man. Mango Cart.
Shock Top. That was
that was kind of the older brother, and then basically they created Mango Cart, which became even better.
It is. It's better.
Yeah. So, National Beer Day, baseball.
Man, what a day for some. Yeah.
Is Mangum still on the Rays?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Okay.
I don't. It's not going to change. He's going to stay. You can't let you. If you didn't want him to stay, you should have never gave him a shot. Because if you gave him a shot, he's going to hit. Was it a 5-game hit streak still? You don't take a man out when he's on a hit streak.
I didn't check. I dropped the ball. I have to admit.
Well,
so I'm sure our listeners did. Yesterday I watched. I went and took a long walk because I need to get some steps in.
Yeah,
I was up here way too long yesterday, till like 3.
Dang. Oh yeah,
30.
It's a trek up here. Yeah,
and then I went home, took a walk, which was awesome. Weather was great.
It was. Yeah.
And then I ended up outside in the man cave. I told you we redid it. It looks a million times better. I lit a Davidoff cigar and I turned on Draft Day with Kevin Costner because I got to get mentally.
Oh yeah.
In that state of mind for the draft. And I got to pick up pointers as we get ready.
That's right.
NFL Chuck Mullins thinks he knows the draft. I got to be ready through,
Oh,
the draft day and Costner, and
only reason he knows the draft so well is because they're always picking up top.
no doubt.
I would
They're gonna screw this up too somehow. God bless them. But and then Wendy fixed some food. It was good, and so I did draft day, and then I had the game on.
Like it.
Although the game starting at 7:50 to me is late.
Lame.
It needs to start at 6:50.
Yes.
But I stayed up for the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't usually do that. Then I took a shower, and as soon as I hit the bed, I was asleep in like 2.8 seconds. Roughly. Could have been 3.1, but whatever. So that was my deal. How did that sound?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you stayed up for the whole thing. You would have regretted it had you not, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a good ball game.
I had to see what happened.
I mean, especially after watching Duke's whole collapse, anything's possible.
I
right?
did watch. My buddy went to sleep, which I thought was hilarious.
Right.
I left his house on Saturday. He lives right around the corner in Starkville, or doesn't live there, but has a place, whatever. And so, he's a football field from me. I get home, I watch the rest of it. It was an unbelievable game, Duke and Houston. And he gets up the next morning, thought that Duke had won.
Don't blame him.
Yeah.
Now that the season's over and it's a wrap, did Kentucky make the right hire?
I mean, it's early,
It's still
but it
early,
sure as
sure.
heck looks like they did.
Man, pretty good hire.
Yeah, he went to the Sweet 16.
Pretty good hire.
Cal went to the Sweet 16. Beard went to the Sweet 16. Did Tennessee go one more?
I thought.
Did they go to the Elite Eight? And then, of course, Bama went to the Elite Eight, and Florida and Auburn went to the Final Four. I may be missing another team.
I mean, had the Gators not won last night, it kind of feels like it would have all been, this whole year would have been all for nothing.
Well,
And they beat each other to sleep.
they did.
And Tennessee did make it to the Elite Eight. They just got drawn by Houston by 19. So you
That's
just don't
right.
think
That
about
game
it.
got out of control. I watched a chunk of it. It was out of control from the jump. I couldn't get in. That was Sunday of the Elite Eight.
Right.
And I kept staying with, I was like, okay, Tennessee's going to make a run. And they just couldn't do it. I mean, they were down by like 20 something. It was like 36-12 or something. I'm like,
ugly.
I can't stay with this. I got to light a cigar and walk around or go do something. I can't do this. So there you go.
They're not sending Jake Mangum to the house.
They didn't play yesterday
They did not, but
unless I'm missing it and I don't see it.
he's the player of the series last series. You don't send him down.
Well, hey, I sure as heck hope not. I don't know if it's official.
I don't see it. I can't find it. I don't see it. You would see something about
Here they are.
Love
They're
first.
playing at home today
Yeah.
against the Rays. I mean, against the Angels.
Yeah. Oh, good. Ooh,
Yeah.
good series for him to show out.
So, Angels at the Rays. That's pretty awesome.
Angels at Rays. Yeah. Okay. Word. So it's down. They're still playing in that little Steinbrenner Field deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how long that is. I may have to get over here and do a beer segment. If you want to watch me pour beer on YouTube, I think it'll be amazing. But if you want to watch me pour beer on YouTube, and Bo the bartender, Jackson came up with that several years ago because I bartended in college,
Right.
which was amazing. Loved it. Yeah, Bo the bartender coming up next on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. We're going to be live on the YouTube channel. Out of Bounds Sports, brought to you by Mango Cart Beer at Mudbugs and Martin's in Livingston. Good morning. National Beer Day on the Out of Bounds show. So you can watch us on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. We're going to feature Mango Cart, Golden Road Mango Cart today, which is one of our favorite new beers. It's new to us, 6, 7, 8 months old. And excited about that. So let's see what we got here, Jackson. Whoa. Nothing like the Tito's cups for the beer.
Love it.
All right. Out of live in the Bank Plus studio. Mango Cart. Official. Fantastic. No, it's out.
I mean, getting the beer is an essential part of the segment. And plus, probably the best one you've had here on tap. It is. Yeah. That's the best beer you've had on tap. I'm trying to remember back when. No, there was one more. Was it Dale's? Was that a thing? Was there something called Dale's that we had up here one time? Yeah,
We did.
So. Okay. Yeah.
We did. All right, so this is Golden Road Mango Cart. We can't keep our wireless mics charged for whatever reason, so we're gonna have to figure out we're gonna have to find a battery that's the official battery of the Out of Bounds show. But it's National Beer Day, and we poured a little bit of Golden Road Mango Cart, which is out of California, and a little bit of Kona Big Wave, which is out of Hawaii and also delicious beer. So cheers to that.
Beach bum.
Is when you, what did I call it?
No. I think you were right.
Okay.
I misheard
I think
you.
I
thought
wrote
was
it
bomb,
down.
But I like beach bum.
Yeah, I had beach bum right here. That's when you combine them.
I like that.
Like an Arnold Palmer, but not.
Or, yeah, maybe so.
But a beach bum is perfect for Masters Week. Tonight is the champions dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow is the par 3 where the players' kids get to get involved and so on. Scotty Scheffler, you get to pick a family member to play Augusta National on Sunday before the tournament, the year after you win, which was a couple of days ago. Scotty picked his mom to play. The pictures and video of it was awesome. And we have the defending champ, Scotty Scheffler. And you've also got the other big name. And the young up-and-comers are crazy on the PGA. The Masters is going to be awesome this week. Absolutely awesome. And you'll get a little Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah.
And also, which Scott Van Pelt's kids are Gators. So I saw that post by him, and his wife is, I don't know if she went to Florida or her parents did or what, but they were decked out in Florida Gator gear in San Antonio.
Yeah, man. Gotta be. Now, to be
That's
fair,
good.
there were a lot of Gators over there.
Yeah,
they smack packed San Antonio in the next round, of course. Did they travel better than anybody else? Is it sport wide or is it Surely they do try. I mean, I know LSU travels well. I know Texas travels well.
Yeah, the Gators showed up.
But they show
Even though
up and
Houston
show
was
out.
down the road, the Gators,
They got out there.
well, I mean, massive alumni base, tons of money, all that kind of stuff. And they were loud last night when they got those two technicals.
Yeah.
Todd Golden and the other dude, they were not happy.
Give me the text, man. That riles them up, gets them hot.
What's that?
A tech. The coach getting a tech. That's the best thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said text.
Nah, I mean, when they get a technical, it's the best thing in the world. Typically.
I love you freelancing. You're like, oh, God, I got to carry the show for a second.
Yeah, I wasn't real sure where to go with there. I wanted to go Joel Osteen real bad, but I opted out.
No, we already got enough of those texts. We're going to stay away from that for now.
Did we get? Oh, I need to look.
We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Fake Gannon says, Bo, how's this for a parlay? Took the wife to Triple B's a few weeks ago. She fell in love with the comeback burger.
Oh, it's a good one.
By the way, she's a fan now. Took her to the station after church this past Sunday. Best pizza in a while.
I'm telling you.
Thanks for making me look good. Where to next? Hashtag wife parlay.
Oh, I like it.
Dude, I like the...
Smart.
He just won something.
Smart
I'll
man.
text him. We'll put together something really cool for him.
So we went B3.
So B3 and the comeback burger.
Love it. Good burger.
The station has a special $9 pizza and salad weekdays.
Dang.
So we've talked about that unbelievable pizza oven that they bought. And it's insane.
I was there Friday night again.
Were you?
Is it Friday or Saturday? I mean, look,
That's awesome.
when you're open when you're cooking until past 9,
And it's good food.
and it's good food. Ain't nowhere else in Jackson to go.
Man, I love to hear
It's incredible,
it. I think
and it was packed. It might have been Thursday. It was smack packed.
I got it. The station in Fondren, Earthstone gas wood combination oven.
I don't trust myself anywhere near it.
All right, so he wants a third spot.
I mean,
I would go to Martin's in Livingston, and there's a couple of different directions you can go. What have I been hammering lately? Wings and gumbo.
you know where to go.
I think the fried oyster po' boy is amazing. I was with Joseph Stodgel down in New Orleans at Hogs for the Cause,
Right.
and he's a big po' boy guy. So their shrimp po' boy and their fried oyster po' boy at Martin's, highly recommend. We went to a total dive that some people would argue would be a little sketchy
I like it.
down by the UNO
Oh no,
Lake Arena.
Oh, you were down there. Okay, all right.
I think it's called Fiorella's.
Fiorellas.
All right. It's been open since 1985. Absolute total dive. Joseph's wife got the muffaletta, which we all split, and then he and I got fried shrimp po' boys. If you are ever down at UNO Lakefront Arena, go to Fiorella's. And I mean, you can tell it's local. It's locals in there. It is South Louisiana. It is on, Lakefront, UNO. Boom. It's a total dive. They have cold beer. They have po' boys. They have muffalettas. And when I tell you the shrimp po' boy was amazing and the muffaletta was insane. Now, you're going to have to just almost trip over it to find it. And look, if you drive by it, if you blink, you miss it.
Yeah.
It's barely standing up, and it's what I love. It's a total dive restaurant bar, Fiorella's, and everybody in there super sweet. They all know each other, and I mean, they had a picture of the 1970. What did I tell Joseph? They had a picture of the 1974 Saints team in there with Archie. Looked like a high school team.
Right.
I mean, it looked like they got a bunch of them together and found like a side yard lot and did the team picture. And it was so poorly done. Not that it's players' fault.
Yeah, right.
But, and I don't know where they were when they took it. I mean, they were outside, so they weren't in the dome. Because the Saints went from playing at Tulane Field to moving into the Superdome. Right. I just don't remember what year. They started in 1967 in New Orleans. Anyway, in Fiorella's, this unbelievable dive restaurant place. Y'all, if you're down UNO Lakefront Arena, go.
1975.
It was?
Yeah. That's when they moved into the dome. Yeah.
Then maybe they were outside at Tulane's Field or something. I'm just guessing. Yeah, and I don't know when they created their Metairie practice field stuff either. So I've been out to that complex, but I don't and they've, as the Saints have gotten richer like every NFL team, they, that thing, the first time I ever went out there, yeah,
it's what you do.
And now, nasty. With the last 30 years of TV money and Breeze and Peyton, it's like a Ritz-Carlton on steroids. Everything, anything you need. I mean, if somebody walks in and says, I want steak and lobster, they've got a chef on site. I feel like they could do it.
Between that and then when they had it in Jackson, obviously it was really cool and whatnot. But like that might be, I'm very grateful for my father for doing it. But that's got to be one of the hardest things to stand through ever, because it is it is hot and muggy every time.
Oh, you're talking about
whenever they're practicing.
I'm not doing that. I did that years ago. The Bank Plus crew invited me out when they were at Millsaps.
Yeah.
And there was a private something. I don't know what was going on.
Was that Eli?
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, it was Breeze. And
Breeze and Peyton. Peyton, not Eli. Yeah.
And
the Colts. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was a Saints team, and what's his name was there? What's the dude with all the hair that played tight end?
Oh,
Shockey,
Jeremy Shockey.
Wasn't Shockey there for a year or two?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wasn't it a red hot minute?
Number 88.
Yeah. But you're right; it was hot as hell.
So I mean, it's
and this brutal. Is when Mr. Benson and his granddaughter were still getting along.
Right.
Eventually, that would all go sideways. She was very attractive.
Yep.
Rita, no, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm not doing July practices.
No.
Now I'll go out to California, and watch the Cowboys practice.
Oh, gosh. I remember. I mean, that was cool. I got Drew Brees gave me a little autograph wristband and whatnot. I was still young, I guess, youngish, high school, middle school, whatever. So it was pretty cool, but I wouldn't go twice. Couldn't go twice.
Yeah, it's hot.
So,
all right. Man, I didn't realize we received all these texts this morning. The winner of the bracket pool. What do I need to do? Okay, well, as soon as we confirm it, then we will get we'll announce the winner tomorrow. Sean says Jeff Levy goes into Gainesville this fall and gets the W. I don't know what Sean's drinking this morning. Maybe Mango Cart on National Beer Day. You could celebrate with a Key City beer out of Vicksburg later today, or meet a buddy for a burger and a beer. Nothing wrong with a beer at lunch. I mean, 3 or 4 maybe, but one, go to Burgers Blues Barbecue, Martin's in Livingston, get you a beer, get you a burger, a po' boy, enjoy local. What was this? Lake Martin. I can't follow what we were doing an hour ago. Wow. Res Dog coming in hot. We'll leave that for tomorrow. Here's Steve Robertson to wrap up the show. All right, we are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN, Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. Steve joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, was it a big win? I mean, is two of 3 a big win, and should the fan base settle down after this weekend with Hail State baseball?
Well, before I answer that, I got to give you a Val Kilmer anecdote.
Yeah,
because I love it. I love it.